Hey guys, it's Roscoe, and on the Space Couch side, by popular request, we're going back to my Star Wars book collection videos. This is officially part 30, and in this, we're going to look at all the visual dictionaries. Apologies if any of these have been covered in previous videos. To be honest, it might only be the one for The Force Awakens that has been, because it's been a while since I've done a Star Wars list video. So first of all, Star Wars, the original trilogy. I got most of these from charity shops, all of the older ones certainly. There is Lord Vader, and we see the Bith and 3PO, just one or two images from this. Let go, Luke Skywalker and its land speeder. That picture looks awfully familiar. I think I've seen that in The Rise of Skywalker. There's lots of cut and paste in The Rise of Skywalker from previous ones. There is Ben Kenobi, but that would have to be a separate video. Here, pilots. Obviously, this is now Empire Strikes Back. And then, of course, Jabba. So that is, of course, Return of the Jedi. So yes, the original trilogy visual dictionary. And then, of course, the prequel trilogy, starting with Episode 1. There you see on the back, a couple of images. Oh, this is the same, by the way, as was in this one. So maybe that is a recurring theme. See? The cut and paste goes back further than we thought. So. Not in the Rise of Skywalker visual dictionary for some reason. And there's the Gungans, and there's TC-14. And we'll have one more from here. Naboo pilots. Next, of course, it's the Mandalorian. Well, not that Mandalorian, or even a Mandalorian, just Jango Fett generally. And there is a bit of reflection on there. Padme and Palpatine. Oh, this is different. That's Geonosis. The Supreme Chancellor. An Emperor, head of the Sith Eternal, and of the Final Order, and blah blah blah. And there is Master Yoda, Shakti. I think that's Depa Billaba, and I'm not sure who that is. Probably a Padawan. Yeah. And there's just some stuff on clone equipment. So that's that one. Then, of course, Revenge of the Sith. Now, what is this? Again, a different world. What world will that be? Not sure what planet that would be. Thinking about, there's so many worlds in Revenge of the Sith. Count Dooku. It was a very good book, The Jedi Lost. Well, screenplay, whatever it was. And of course, got to have the droids. R2 has got all his bits hanging out there. And then just some of the Magna Guards for the General. So that is now the prequel trilogy complete. Now, just moving on, the Clone Wars. Although it's called a visual guide as opposed to a visual dictionary. The same way that the Rebels one is. A galaxy divided by war. Oh, and that's nice. The Separatist and Republic symbols. Obviously, that becomes a TIE fighter, that becomes the Empire. And I think they amend it slightly, don't they? I think. So let's see what we've got here. Fire on those tanks. That looks like Christophsis. Oh, just on the back. Spider droids. Spider droid, spider droid. And then Zero the Hutt. That's an interesting arc. So that is for the Clone Wars. And then, of course, we have Rebels. Their visual guide. Ended up being a really good show, Rebels. And that is its internal one. I really like the animation style of Rebels. The occupation of Lothal. Hera Syndulla and Ghost, which of course we do see in The Rise of Skywalker quite prominently, and of course Sabine Wren. And there is a couple of troopers. Like I said, I really like how the Stormtrooper design comes out in that animation style. It's very aesthetically pleasing. And of course, this used to be a toy and it got canonised. And I've got that, it's on my fireplace right now. I got from the Sci-Fi Market in Bromley a couple of years ago. So that is the Rebels Visual Guide. Next, the Force Awakens Visual Dictionary. And that was what its inside was. And there's the Galactic Atlas as it was. I have to compare these Galactic Atlases at some point because I'm convinced the one for The Rise of Skywalker, the planets that are down here are a bit too far down there. Either that or it's like they've cropped the galaxy edges perhaps. Lor San Tekka. FN2187. So this should next be the fin spread. Yeah. There he is there. There is Rey. There's just the other one because I was looking at The Rise of Skywalker and I'm sure that some of this is in there. But I would have to do a proper comparison in due course. And then just the TIE Fighter, the First Order TIE Fighter pilot. So you see the cross-section of the helmet. And the Rathtar. Forgot all about this page, to be honest. So that is for that. Next, The Last Jedi. Everyone's favourite Star Wars film. And that is what its inner spread is. Rey with the lightsaber. There's Finn again. Resistance bombs and of course Paige Tico. Kylo Ren. Might have to do a video on Kylo Ren through the Visual Dictionaries at some point. Yes, the Supreme Leader. And these guys. Maybe they're from Exegol. Let's see. Temple Island. And Luke Skywalker. So I'm sure some of this, either the text or some of the pictures, is in the Rise of Skywalker Visual Dictionary. But I'm not certain. It just looks like it is. I really liked this design of the CANTO BIGHT Police. I wish that had come out as a figure, but it didn't. Other than the little one that comes with the CANTO BIGHT Speeder. And there are all of the casino guests. The problem was that none of them were familiar. It didn't feel like Star Wars. It felt like the holodeck of the Starship Enterprise as opposed to being in Star Wars. So that's that one. And now this one, which is quite thick compared to the others. And that is its inner cover on Pisana. So let's just see. Like some of this stuff, it really looks familiar from before, but I need to have a proper look at it. Like all of this, I'm sure this is just lifted straight from the other one. But again, I need to check first and then I can present that to you. And here's the Kylo Ren spread in this one. It's so dark though, you can hardly make anything out. You should have a white background on this. The Resistance Base. I can't remember if I've done a video on the Resistance Base yet. You guys will have to tell me. I'm sure that I haven't. I have done one on Ajahn Kloss, so maybe it was in there. Yes, Beaumont King, who is far more important a character than Emperor Palpatine, which is why he gets a twin page spread and Palpatine gets Bupkis. And then on the trail of OCHI of Bestoon. I haven't covered this bit yet, so we'll have to do a video on that at some point. And Zori Bliss, who I did actually enjoy as a character. I wish they'd been able to introduce her in the second film of a real trilogy, and she would have been much more important. She would have been Lando of this trilogy if they'd managed to do that. But hey, no one can ever admit their mistakes these days, so the trilogy we got is the trilogy we got. So there you go, guys. That is all the visual dictionaries for Star Wars. There isn't one for The Mandalorian, at least not yet. Nothing for Resistance, at least not yet. And when that does come out, I will be picking those up. But for now, I hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this content. Leave me a comment or suggestion for a upcoming topic you'd like to see discussed, or like the video.